Yo, 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 what up, everybody? This is the Collective Podcast. I am AC from LA, and I am solo right now. This is a time that we don't normally go, but we wanted to keep it consistent and make sure that we keep the podcast going weekly. So this is early Saturday morning, Pacific Standard Time. Eastern Time is not so early, but it's 7 a.m. for us, 10 a.m. for you guys, and I'm checking in from the greater Los Angeles area. So early, but it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a podcast to step to. Think of how many week shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you. Yo, what's up? What's up? AC from LA. This is the Collective Podcast, episode 55. And I'll keep it short today. Because I don't know if I'll be joined or not, but it's okay. Again, we wanted to keep the consistency, wanted to keep going week after week. So this is episode 55. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm sorry, this is episode 56. Episode 56. My bad. 55 was last week. I feel like Joe Budden, because Joe Budden never knows. I listen to Joe Budden's podcast, and he historically never knows what episode it is. And they're in the 400s. This is just 56. I should know. I should know where we are. Anyway, that being said, hope all is well with everybody. Yeah, so the baseball season has begun, and the defending champs had their first home game yesterday. That's the Los Angeles Dodgers, my Los Angeles Dodgers. What's up, Shablon? Hope everybody's doing well. What's up, Simeon Henderson, Mr. Chicago? Hope you're doing well out there. Everybody give a shout out to my guy, Simeon Henderson, and make sure that you be symbolic. That's very important. But shout out to the Los Angeles Dodgers. They opened up the season yesterday with a 1-0 victory over the Oakland A's. And we got the rings yesterday. Wonderful time to be, what do we call it? A Los Angelino. You're in Belize. Okay. That's right, brother. Give back, Simeon. So the Dodgers opened up 1-0 against the A's. So in a battle of attrition, the Dodgers prevailed, and the Dodgers are 6-2. Just for your records, they are 6-1 with Mookie Betts and 0-1 without. But everybody needs a rest. They call it load management in basketball, but it's nuts in basketball. In baseball, you need a day off in a 162 game season. So I think you probably worked 9 out of 10 games or something like that. Something that makes sense. But anyway, Dodgers, world champs, defending champs, opened up at home yesterday. So 1-0 at home and 5-2 on the road. I appreciate you too, Simeon. I really do. What's up, Gene? Good morning. So anyway, so again, it's just me steering the ship this morning. Rod's probably burnt out. He had a football game yesterday, football game last night. I don't know the results of it. I didn't wind up talking to him, but it's probably one of those things where he's getting his rest. So again, I'll keep it short this week. I still wonder if the Lakers will make the playoffs. It's, I would hope as a Laker fan, but it doesn't necessarily look promising. I mean, you can say, well, they did so well before Cats went down that it would be hard for them not to make it. But, they were the 2 seed. In fact, they were behind Utah. I think they had the number 3 overall record and number 2 in the West behind Utah when LeBron James and Anthony Davis went down. Now I think overall they're like 8th or 9th best record, and they're number 5 in the West. So they're still in there, but right now they would open up on the road. So it's an interesting situation. Football, 49ers are, they moved up. They made a trade with the Dolphins to move up and draft 3rd. And there's word that they may be taking not necessarily Justin Fields, but another quarterback with the last name of Lance. I don't remember Lance's first name, but very, very interesting. It's not the Alabama quarterback, so they're not making me mad, but it's really interesting that they may be taking this other quarterback in the draft. 49ers third pick. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know if Dietrich was on here, he could tell me because Dietrich always knows exactly what's going on with the 49ers. So let me see. 49ers third pick quarterback. Um, so I want to say, yeah, some people still haven't taken Justin Fields, but I saw something saying that they might take the other guy, and I don't really know a lot about him, so I don't have the info. He was on. I was at the barbershop yesterday when I saw that. Anyway, 49ers. Hopefully they do well, get back to the Super Bowl, win another Super Bowl. That would be great. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great Saturday, even if it's early. If it's not early, hopefully you've already done some great things. If it is early, hopefully you will do some great things, and hopefully everything will be okay. Like I said, Rob worked football last night. Not sure what's going on with Trey. I haven't talked to him in a minute. I know that he and I were supposed to go to opening day last year, and opening day was at home. Opening day was at Dodger Stadium, but of course the lockdown happened, so we didn't go, and we haven't been able to replace those tickets yet. The people that we bought them through just started selling tickets again, and we would have had to put a lot with it to go yesterday to the home opener, and I wasn't available anyway. So we'll go at some point. We'll let you guys know how it was to go into Dodger Stadium while the Dodgers are defending champs. That should be really good. Um, a lot of things are happening. It seems like people are dying every day from unnatural causes. And I don't mean COVID-19, I mean murder and just manslaughter. Like the world is not in a good place right now, or our country is not in a good place right now. There's a former NFL player named Philip Adams who wound up killing a family in South Carolina and then turned the gun on himself. I know that more will be revealed. He played in the NFL for 5 seasons, played on 6 different teams. And like I said, he killed a family of 5, including grandparents and children, and then killed himself. I don't know why, but it's really sad. My prayers go to the family of the family that he killed. My prayers also go to his family. I can't imagine what they are all dealing with. It's really sad, and it's just bad. Um, in Houston, you have the allegations that keep piling up against Deshaun Watson, and there's this one attorney that has gotten all, basically he's building a class action suit against Deshaun Watson with alleged victims that were either masseuses or massage therapists. And again, more will be revealed there. Um, you don't want to believe negative things about people who generally move in a positive light. But I'll tell you, I have no tolerance for sexual assault and the like. Now, I am someone who believes that people should have a chance to defend themselves. So I'm not passing judgment on Deshaun Watson. He has not been hasn't even been charged with anything, nor has he been proven guilty of anything. This is civil. These are civil cases going against him. No criminal action, but just the idea of this is pretty disgusting. I hope that it turns out not to be true. But if it does turn out to be true, then that's pretty bad. And I'll speak on it at that point if it turns out to be true. But right now, we don't know. Um, so in hip hop, we lost an absolute legend, and so I'd like to give a moment of silence for DMX and his family and friends. It has been reported that DMX overdosed on non-prescription drugs and wound up having a heart attack and was hospitalized, wound up on life support, and ultimately didn't make it out. And that's that's pretty tough. So my prayers go to DMX's family, DMX's friends, and DMX's fans for that reason, because I know that a lot of his fans are also affected. By all accounts, DMX was a very like he battled his demons, but when he interacted with the public, by all accounts, I never met him, but he was very personable, very giving, very engaging. Say he was a conversationalist, just like he was a conversationalist in his music, in his artwork. It seemed that he was that same way when he interacted with the public. So for all of those that DMX touched, my prayers go out to you and yours. And I hate that happened. There have been some legendary MCs that go. Now, here's the interesting thing about DMX. The conversation gets started about his place in music. Like hands down, he's a legend. But a lot of us always talk about our top 10, our top five MCs dead or alive, top five dead or alive, top 10, top 15, top 20. Where's DMX for you? Like when I've run through my top, I've never really thought about DMX. It's a really interesting thing. Like the songs that I like from DMX, I love. And not just the street anthems, but just like the personal, like motivational songs. And so I don't know if I unjustly kept him out of my conversation or not. So I need to go back and evaluate. But I don't have him in my top 10, just as my favorite. As an MC, innovator. He's DMX was a unicorn. DMX was a different kind of dude and just a trendsetter, all of that. And so cultural impact, a lot came from DMX and DMX's surroundings. So I leave that with you guys to think about, like, where does DMX rate for you? And then I heard a discussion yesterday about DMX's discography versus other legends' discographies. And so it was, even if you don't have him as a top 10 MC, top 15, well, I think most people have him top 15, but even if you don't have him as a top 10 MC, do you have his discography in the top 10? So when you talk about Ice Cube's discography, it's up there. Tupac, it's up there. Jay-Z, Kanye West, Drake, they're all up there. I don't know if Wayne is in that discussion because Wayne's had a lot of really good stuff, but then he's had some throwaways. So is Wayne in that discussion? Kendrick is a living legend, but does he have enough of a catalog right now? He hasn't missed, right? Kendrick hasn't missed, whereas DMX definitely missed. But does he have enough of a catalog? So you think about Kendrick. Do you put J. Cole in that discussion? Do you put Ghostface Killah in there? Name. Do you put Rakim in there? Rakim was Eric B. and Rakim. That's a group. So when they're talking about really solo projects, so I don't know that Rakim's solo discography gets him there. Now, Rakim is in my top 10 MCs just because of everything that Rakim did and the things that Rakim said. It's but discography, solo discography, especially, he's not there. When you look at Boogie Down Productions, legendary discography, but then when you go with KRS-One as a soloist, there were some hits and misses. So it wouldn't be that simple. So anyway, when we name all these names, and then you look at DMX, and I wasn't a fan of all of his albums, but by all accounts, he had, three classics and then maybe a fourth, and then, of course, at least three throwaways. But, where does his discography rate? And you have these interesting topics and you can have great discussions on them. And, just legendary. So, Pac, legendary discography. Biggie was 2 for 2. But again, is there enough of a catalog there to have him in the discography discussion? Oh, I left out Nas. Nas is, top 3. But, Nas, that goes without saying. But the ones you have to wonder about, Biggie, enough of a catalog? I don't know. Kendrick, enough of a catalog? J. Cole, would he be there? Is he there? Is there enough of a catalog? When you look at Outkast, yes, legendary catalog, but that's a group. When you take Andre 3000 away, then you left with Big Boy. Does Big Boy have that solo discography? No. Does Andre? No. Does Eminem? Now Eminem has some. I think Eminem is in that discussion. I think Eminem is in the top 10 of discographies. But then there are some people that would say he missed a couple times and probably missed hard. So just something to discuss. It's really interesting what you wind up with when you really get to digging deep into how you really feel about who placed where and why. So prayers to DMX, his family and friends. I would say that DMX's discography is definitely in my top 10. DMX as an MC, I would have him in my top 15. Oh, so we said Ice Cube for sure. Like that goes without saying. He checks all the boxes. He's top 10 in all the categories. Tupac is top 10 in all the categories for me. The only thing Tupac couldn't last in is longevity, and that's because he was murdered. So I think you have to look at LL in that discussion. Some people say you might want to throw Snoop in there, but LL's definitely got to be in there. Remember, I was LL Cool A back in the day. So just something to discuss, right? And if I had the guys here, then this would be something that we could get through. But just want to give you guys some food for thought. Baseball season's back. Dodgers are looking to repeat. Basketball season is going, and I don't know what the Lakers are doing. Football is coming, and don't call it a comeback, but the 49ers are looking to get healthy, and they're making some moves. Shout out to everybody that checked in with us today on the Collective podcast. This was, like I said, this was going to be a short one because I'm on a solo project. I just hope that everybody is doing well. Hope that everybody is safe. Hope that everybody stays out of trouble. Everybody gets everything that they need taken care of. Much love to my co-host, Rodney Saucier Senior. Shout out to my guy, my longtime buddy, Trey _Hop. Shout out to AC Sports Live, who is Anthony Cobbs, who comes on here quite a bit. What up, Cobbs? And then shout out to my man, Jim McElroy the fourth. Make sure you check out Anthony Cobbs, AC Sports Live, on Tuesday evenings at 9 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you check out Jim McElroy's The Sucker Punch podcast on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And make sure that you check out 1585, oh, goodness gracious, here's Rodney. The 1585 podcast on Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific. That's Anthony and Jimmy together. Good morning to you, Rod.
What's up, brother?
I'm sorry to get you up so early, brother.
Oh no, good.
I was about to shut it down. I was closing out. Man. So I don't have a lot today. Seriously, I just went 20 minutes. Oh no, I went 25 minutes. Um, Rod, I talked about DMX. I talked about Philip Adams, who was the former NFL player that killed the 5 people and then killed himself. I
Yeah.
talked about the oh yeah, cops around the golf. Brianna and I are going tomorrow morning to Shandon Hills in San Bernardino. We can't wait. And I went Wednesday, actually. I went Wednesday with my dad and Roland Wright and Dirk Binkley. So we had a nice foursome out there. Um, Philip Adams. I talked about the allegations against Deshaun Watson, Rodney, and said that if that stuff is true, then we'll comment on it. Well, then I would comment on it when it has been proven to be true. Until then, benefit of the doubt for sure. But the idea of that is disgusting. I talked about the Dodgers being the defending world champs, getting their rings yesterday, being 6-2 overall, and then they had their home opener 1-0 at home, 6-1 with Mookie, 0-1 without, and they're not killing teams this year. They are winning, obviously, a good bit of their games, but they're not killing teams thus far. When you look at run differential, they're at plus 17, and that's what happens when you win 1-0 against the A's. But there are a couple of teams that are like plus 23, plus 31. So I think the Dodgers will get it going. Pitching looks decent. The pitching looks strong. Kershaw looked good the second time out. And the bats will get hot when they need to, for sure. So I talked about the Dodgers. I talked about the Lakers. I said the Dodgers should win again. Lakers again. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs at all. They're the 5 seed right now in the West. They obviously don't look good, and people are injured. But you guys talk about what is Cobbs call Anthony Davis? Tender love. So even when he comes back, you just never know. But anyway, so I talked about that. I touched on the 49ers and moving up to the 3rd draft pick. You can add whatever you want to add, but I was ready to just cut it short today. So what you got, Rod? What you got, Saucier Senior?
Man, I don't have a lot. I'm in football mode. My voice is scratchy. Aches and pains.
I told him you had a game last night. How'd your game go?
It was.
You said it was 45-7 at halftime, right?
Yeah, it was 45-7. He still had his starters in the 3rd quarter for some odd reason. Got up to 66-7. Bad clock operator kept stopping the clock, so the game was longer than it was supposed to. And he kept saying, "Oh, it's my first time." I'm like, it's not really hard to just click that switch that says the timer back and forth if you just pay attention. But he wasn't paying attention. But I don't have a lot, man. I have a basketball game at 1:00 today, so I'm still like kind of fighting myself to get in basketball mode because I'm so far removed.
Oh, is this the first one?
Yes.
Wait a minute. So listen, guys. It's so funny how it worked out. Rodney and I work college women's college basketball, but then we also work independent men's college basketball, and we work for the same supervisor for that one independent school. And I worked I think I worked 5 times this year. And however, just the way that the schedule worked, Rodney didn't work at all. But I also had to use Rodney's shirt and jacket. So shout out to Rodney for that. I ordered my own stuff, but my stuff came late, so I missed the last 2 games in my own clothes. But it was weird for me returning to the court in February, and that was 2 months ago. Rodney is just now returning to the court today. I wish you the best, brother. That's really interesting. Are you going to are you gonna keep a mask on with the whistle under, or are you just gonna do the whistle with the pouch? So you are keeping a mask on.
Yeah.
Have you tried that yet? Have you practiced?
I did running around the beach a little bit just to see how it would feel Yeah.
Okay, good.
So it's not an issue for me.
Okay. All right, good. My first, I'm gonna do some basketball too. My game, obviously, my college season is over, but I'm gonna do some high school. I'm up Tuesday, out your way. I'm in Long Beach on Tuesday. Um, so I've worked games with the whistle under the mask. I've worked games with the hand whistle, and I'm sure that I'm going to use the whistle under the mask. But I was supposed to look at getting a mask like some of the people use in the tournament, where there's more of a like a protruding facial part, so that the
Right.
mask, I mean, so that the whistle fits comfortably under there. But I keep forgetting to I keep forget y'all catch that, Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald. It's actually Michael McDonald. I didn't know Patty LaBelle remade that song, and I don't know that I wanted her to. But shout out to Patty LaBelle. Um, I only want Michael McDonald to sing that. I don't want anyone to ever cover that song. I keep forgetting to look into ordering it, right? So I don't know. The crazy thing is in lacrosse, I've been wearing the mask and then using the hand whistle, but then on Wednesday I worked with my boy Dirk, and I decided that I was going to use the finger whistle, so I kept moving the mask to blow the whistle, and then he went down injured. So then it became crazy because I had to work the whole field by myself, and wound up running 7 miles. Uh, Good workout, but I don't know that I like moving the mask and blowing the whistle. And I have lacrosse again this morning, so I have to figure it out. I'll let you know. But yeah, I'm back on the court Tuesday. But good luck to you today, Rod.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the hardest part for me was working the other day on the sideline, which I don't normally work on the sideline, so it's easier for me at back judge, but working on the sideline as head
oh, near
linesman
people. Oh,
near
yeah,
people with a mask on and trying to you know, I didn't have
yeah,
a I didn't have an electric whistle, so I had to blow false start and stuff like that. And I had to snatch my mask down a couple times, but for the most part, I just keep people way behind me as
yeah.
much as possible.
And so how is that, Rod? And I know you only did it once. Well, I know you've done some lower level games, but is it easier to have them cooperate now that they know you need your space? Because in regular football, when you're on the sideline, they want to be right up on you. But are they
Yeah,
staying back more?
yeah, yeah. The
Okay,
team that I had when I was worked the sideline did a good job of staying away. They
okay,
they they worked pretty well. They called their play and then they just stepped back. They did kind
okay.
of come up towards the sideline yelling a little bit, but they stayed like 10 yards down at a distance. They weren't next to me.
Got you. So I want to shout out Dietrich. Well, first of all, Cobbs. He's definitely reminding us that the about Anthony Tender Love Davis. So Anthony Cobb says, "Love so tender, wanna get next to you, or is it close to you, baby? I surrender."
Is
All
there
right,
even
so
a timetable for either one of them to come back, for he or LeBron to come back? I haven't even
yes,
heard it. I've heard
after
2 weeks about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It seems like.
it's 2 weeks, and they renew it every 10 days.
Right.
um, Look
That's
at our
how I
guy
feel.
Dietrich. Dietrich, I don't know what happened, but Dietrich's face is here. He took the mask off for the picture and took the hat off, and he has a perfectly manicured beard and a nice lineup. So we see Dietrich's face for the first time in a very long time. Shout out to my man Dietrich. What up, guy? How's everything? And then let's see. Cobbs shot the Inglewood Muir game. Wow, 70-12. 70-12. So Inglewood wouldn't be playing John Muir. So that's got to be, well, John Muir is also a junior high. So that's got to be Long Beach Muir. I mean, not Long Beach, Pasadena Muir.
Right.
Pasadena. Wow. I can't even get it
Wow.
out.
At the
Yeah, I don't
Rose
know what's up
Bowl?
with the lopsided games. Oh, and it was creepy. Oh, it was at the Rose Bowl. So it was definitely Pasadena Muir.
That's
Fox 40 mask with the whistle inside. Oh, so that's what it is. Okay. He got the Fox 40 mask with the whistle inside. All right, I'll take a look at that. And then thanks, Dietrich. And then Cobbs being Cobbs, the corniness is never far away. He's got a dad joke of the day. Don't swallow your whistle while it's under the mask. Okay, Cobbs, we'll make sure that we don't swallow our whistles since we have games today. So, Rod, next Saturday is an interesting one. I have lacrosse early, and then I have a basketball doubleheader. So next week I'll get some good paid cardio in. Also, it's always great to get paid to run up and down the field and run up and down the court. I love that. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out, Dietrich. Try to find that. I'm just so used to ordering everything from Amazon, and they don't have anything Fox 40. So, but I'll take a look at that. Wait, are you talking about football or basketball with the Fox 40 mask? Or does it matter? Because you keep the whistle in your mouth in basketball, but you think you're talking about basketball?
Dietrich work basketball?
I don't know. That's what's throwing me off. Like I only know him to work football. Yeah, he could say something. All right, that browser's not even working. All right, so I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check Amazon, see if I can get it quickly. Amazon. Anything else, Rod? Before we close out, my brother?
No. Well, I posted a article yesterday about Bert Smith, the official that went down in the Elite Eight, and that article it was scary to think he had a blood clot in his lung, and he passed out, and he got up. He didn't want to be put on that stretcher during the game, but they tricked him into getting on the stretcher, so they wheeled him out because he wanted to walk out on his own power. So when you look at his face as he's on the stretcher, he looks angry, even though he waves to the crowd that he's fine. He's got an angry look on his face because the doctor asked him, he says he didn't want to be put on the stretcher, and the doctor asked him, well, can you just sit on the edge of the stretcher when we lift you up, just to make sure you get your balance? And when he sat on the edge of the stretcher, they grabbed his legs and swung him around and strapped him in. So he wasn't pleased about that.
Wow.
But just, I mean, he didn't remember where he was initially. He couldn't see, and he never made it to the other end of the court. He was just kind of standing. He knew something was going on, and then he just passed out. And the fans were saying that they could hear his head hit the floor.
Oh,
30 rows up when he fell. And he's not a little guy. He's like 6'3", 2 and some change. So he hit the floor pretty hard. And just to think that when the game was over, his crew members came to the hotel where he was staying, and urged him to go to the hospital because he wasn't going to go. And that's when it was determined he had a blood clot in his lung, and he could have died. So that's a scary thing.
Oh my goodness.
Scary thing. And then Tim McCullough, shout out Tim, he said the same thing happened to him. So, it's real out there. I always say a prayer before a game starts. I don't even work without it.
Okay, shout out to Tim McCullough. Wow, normally I hear Tim's name and I make a lot of jokes, but this is a serious time right now, so you get a pass, Tim. Not that you're listening to my podcast. Rodney is shouting you out on the podcast and you're not here, but Luckily for you, no jokes today because Rodney said that you had something serious. So,
And they
um,
don't know if his issue was COVID related.
say it again.
They don't know if his issue was COVID related. I think he did test positive for COVID last year, but they don't know if his issue was related to him being positive previously.
Okay.
He's not positive now, if that's the question.
Okay. Um, this is the Collective Podcast live episode 56. You guys tricked me into saying 55 when I first started the podcast because I was by myself, and so the little creepy men that run around in my head told me it was episode 55, but it's episode 56. So shout out to you guys for being here. Rod and I appreciate you. We appreciate you a great deal. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast, or like, comment, and follow, depending on where you are. Go ahead. You type in, go ahead and click like. Thank you. Even share if you'd like. We appreciate that. Um, yeah. So, what city is your game in, Rod? Your basketball game?
Bellflower. It's a high
Okay.
school. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'll speak a little bit in code. I talked to your guy Yoshi the other day about like the requirements they have for associates, and the requirement. Thank you for that. Like the requirements are nuts for associates. They want the 6 lesson plans done, even if those lesson plans are not needed in your home unit, which they're not,
Right.
and they want them done by Sunday. Um, Speaking of which, check the private chat.
I got you. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did everything else. I just need that one.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean everything should be relaxed this year as far as, you know, um, qualifying for whatever as far as officials concerned with what's going on. They should ease these restrictions because really nobody wants to be out there for the most part. You only have a few that are willing to go, so you should really try to do what you can
Right.
to make sure that the people that are willing to do it can do it without all the extras. You know,
Right.
I could understand, declaring where you want to do playoffs. I get that part. Even they need to know where you represent, but the other stuff, qualifying, um, if you've been in good standing, I feel it shouldn't change.
Damn.
At least for not this past year. So
Yeah. Completely with you, brother. Completely with you. All right. Well, Rodney, Saucier, 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 Senior. We can go ahead and go and close out, man. Let me read this though. Cobb said it just sounds like something that could be the remnants of having it a while ago. He's talking about Bruce Smith, and he said, "Be safe, brothers." Yeah, you be safe too. And yeah, this is all crazy. Go ahead, Ryan. Close out, my brother. Close out.
oh man, all I will say is I'm gonna just continue to lick my wounds this morning and try to switch reels, but be safe out there. I know a lot of us uh, are feeling a little more comfortable and want to get outside, and many people have had the vaccine, some have not, but either way, be safe. Don't don't take chances with your life. It's precious. Um, and enjoy this beautiful weekend that I see so far.
Thank you for that, Rod. Um, words of wisdom from the wise owl. The wise owl. Um, Bam. Well, that's the thing, Rodney.
You know what,
Great
Tom?
question.
I really don't have a clue because I've never met anyone in the Saucier family outside of my dad and my brothers. So all I know is it's Saucier, or some people say Saucier. I don't know a lick of French, and neither did he. I guess my dad spoke a little French, but to make a long story short, our family name is Roberts, but my dad, because of uh, his living situation, changed our last name to Saucier at age 15 to get in the military. So he went in the Navy at 15 and went straight to World War II by 16.
Wow.
So that's when Saucier came into existence. But I people ask me, "Hey, are you related to the Mississippi Sauciers, the Alabama Sauciers?" I don't know any one of them.
You know what? Wow. So that takes me right to. Uh, so and Anthony, you could be like, well, how do you pronounce it, Rod? Well, Rod pronounces it two out of the three ways. So, what do you say most, Rod?
I just say Saucier.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. So Rodney is reminding me about my and about my DNA research through an app. Again, I'm not shouting out that app because they're not sponsoring us, but that app is amazing, and I've I've found, I think I said, what is it, 9 times great grandfather on my dad's side and 8 times great grandparents on my mom's side. So my mom's side, we're still in Louisiana 8 generations ago, but on my dad's side, I'm all the way out to Virginia. So I'm out by not too far from Anthony Cobbs and his people. Probably not too far from Rodney and his people, although Rodney and his people go back to the Garden of Eden, wherever that was. So where is the Garden of Eden, Rod? I've never asked you that. And is it still manicured and maintained? Listen,
I'm sure
when
the
I can
original. I'm sure the original Anthony Senior is probably still there, still living.
Rod's dad fought Rod. You know how you have we're still trying to get the father son combo in some sport. We actually had it with Griffey. He was able to play while his dad was playing. I don't know if anyone else has done that. I know that LeBron is trying to do that. And I don't know if his son's going to the NBA, but as far as I know, it was just King Griffey. But what you guys don't know is that Rodney and his dad pulled it off. They fought in World War II together. So that is amazing. It's an amazing situation. Hey, rest in paradise, Rodney's dad. Rest in paradise. Um, I want to bring him up without saying that. Um, so yeah, wow. I don't want to start tearing up. So I want to tell you guys
Funny
about
because
something.
he would, whenever my dad, when he was alive, whenever he would write to family members in Alabama, he would write Coleman Roberts. And that's how I found out exactly what was going on. He really never talked about it. Um, I just asked my mom one day, like, why does my dad always write Roberts on the, end of his envelopes? And she said, oh, he didn't tell you. I'm like, no. She says, well, he didn't want to talk about it. And she told me the story. But yeah, it was crazy. My dad was really, when I tell you poor, he was beyond poor. Um, my grandmother moved to California and she married a man allegedly named Frank Saucier. So that's where he heard the name Saucier and took it from. Um, but when she apparently moved to California, she didn't take my dad or his brother, my uncle Gus. So they were about 8, 9 years old, and supposedly whoever they were left with died the same day.
What?
Um, yeah. So my dad and my uncle were left, you know, with the deceased person until someone found them and took them to their paternal grandfather, who I don't know who he is or what his name is, but he raised them until they were 15. And they both changed their last name to Saucier because at that time, they didn't really have official birth certificates and all that kind of stuff. And another story I've heard recently is that my dad got in trouble at age 15, and that speeded up the process because it was either hurry up and jump in the Navy before you're caught or get caught and go to prison.
Go to the
So,
chain gang?
yeah. Um, and my dad was born in 1925, so I know that prison in 1940 was probably really bad.
Yeah, it was that's what
Um,
it was the chain gang
yeah, and he
and
lived
worse. Yeah.
in a little small town called York, Alabama. It's like I've been there. I went after my dad passed to just look up my family history. So it's the last city in Alabama before the Mississippi state line. If you pass the line, you're in Meridian, Mississippi, I think is the so I my dad had a brother named Willie who was deceased before I was born. And Willie's widow, my Aunt Rachel, is the president of the bank. So they have one bank, they have one elementary school, they have one Days Inn directly off the freeway, they have one grocery store, they have one of everything, and they have one stoplight. Um, my grandfather's house and the church he pastored are in the same yard. So you walk out of the house and you just walk next door and go to church. So my Aunt Christine, my dad's youngest sister, is still there and she maintains everything. Um, my dad's stepmother just passed away about 2 years ago and she lived to be over 100. So she also gave me a little history and showed me postcards and letters that my dad wrote while he was still in the military. She had saved all of them. So my aunt Christine has them. Um, my dad's grandfather, who raised him, was a sharecropper, and if you know history a little bit, that was during the Great Depression. So he was, I mean, they were really poor, and so it affected my dad because he didn't like going to grocery stores. He said that they trimmed too much meat off the off of things when they killed it and packaged it for grocery stores. So he would rather hunt himself or go to a butcher and tell them how to cut it himself. So my dad kept a hunting license. He kept a fishing license. He was in survival mode at all times. And
Wow.
yeah, he forced. Well, he made sure that my brothers and me we all kept a license uh, to hunt at all times. I was bad about it. I would try to resist. I was not trying to go to Wyoming and shoot deer and elk and all that stuff. But he's like, get your license. When it's time to go, you're going. And my dad he was a he was just a survivor. That's all I could say. He would say, hey, if you shoot it, you skin it. So if you're 12 and he's telling you to gut a deer, you could imagine what that could do to a kid. But that's 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 my
Wow.
upbringing in a nutshell. So yeah,
Wow.
um, he calmed down over the years, but yeah, when I was a kid, uh, he didn't trust anyone because he just, I guess, abandonment issues. And so he kept the last name Saucier, but he always wrote to the family as Roberts. So that's pretty much how the story went, and that's why he didn't talk about it. Um, and that's how I ended up with the last name.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, um, it. Well, I'll just leave it to Cobbs. I won't say anything. But Cobbs wants you to change your name to Roberts to make it easy on everybody. He said, "Thank you for the story, but can you just go back to Roberts?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So,
That's
Rodney,
the
I
thought.
did a little research. Your town, York, your dad's town, York, is 50 miles from the little town that I used to visit in Alabama called Uniontown.
Huh.
It's they're 50.4 miles apart. And I've looked up York, and Rod's right, it's on the Mississippi Alabama border, and we want to fact check on this podcast. So depending on the route that you take across that line, you're either going to be in Lauderdale, Tumsuba, or Alamucha. And I'm assuming coming from York, probably up to 20, it was probably Tumsuba. Marion is a little further away, right? But probably Tumsuba is what you're talking about. But wow, he's right. It's literally on the Mississippi Alabama border, and it's really close to the Alabama Welcome Center, which probably didn't exist
Yeah.
when he was coming up.
It's
Um,
the very last exit. Like if you pass that
yeah,
exit, you go to Mississippi.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking at it right here. Like he's talking about if you're on the 20, you're gonna it's the Alabama Welcome Center. But if you keep going, then you're in Mississippi, and then you know,
Yeah.
shit, both of them, but both of those states are the get a rope states, especially
Right.
in the 40s.
So the
So,
kids actually go to junior high and high school in Mississippi in York. um,
oh, okay, so they go across the line.
yeah, they go across the line. And I actually have a friend, Glennis, that I've been knowing for years. What's up, Glennis, if you listening? Her family lives in York. So our families know each other in
Wow.
that small
And you
town.
don't know her from York,
I
obviously.
did not know her from York. I know her growing up here, and she goes to York every year.
Now, is that where the peppermint patties were made? The York peppermint patties?
I don't have a clue.
Okay. I'm just checking.
No, I keep laughing at Kyle.
Wait, thank you. Read that, right? Read that for the listener.
Real men kill and gut their meals. I guess we're just soft these days.
Hey, not kill and gut the meats, but the
Yeah.
meals. They're killing and gutting the whole meal. Oh,
Man, I
Elaine.
would
Good morning,
I would
Elaine. You're a little late.
purposely I would purposely miss when I tried to shoot animals. I did not want to do it. I did not want to do it.
I couldn't hunt, man.
And
I couldn't
I
hunt.
would actually get in trouble because he's like, I, my dad didn't. I mean, like profanity was like his whole sentence. so, so he was like, "Damn it, Rodney, you wasting all the MF ammunition. Give me the damn rifle." And he would snatch it and he would pop Bambi right in the chest. Yeah, we'd have to walk over. My dad could hit a moving target from a really far distance, and that was his thing in the military. That's what he was known for, his marksmanship with a rifle or a gun or something. So he could hit a moving target from a long distance away. So he would hit it, or we would go and get quail or rabbits. Um, and he was a chef in the Navy because at that time that's all you could really be. They didn't want black men fighting. Strangely enough, we weren't smart enough, so um, he could make anything, and he could make anything taste great. And he actually had a bet. My boy, I guess Keith didn't get my message, but Keith and I grew up together. He's beat Keith Lester on the podcast, and Keith came over my dad's house one day. He's like, "Hey, Mr. Saucier, what you making?" And he's like, "Oh, I just made some rabbit. You want some?" And Keith is like, "Nah, I don't want that." And he says, "You know what?" He said, "Taste it. No one's gonna make it like I make it. And if you don't like it, here's $20 to go get you something to eat." And Keith tasted the rabbit. He had gravy and rice with it, and we ate the whole pot. I mean, like it was that good. I wouldn't do it again after I found out how much, fat is in it and it's high in cholesterol.
That's why he wouldn't do it again, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
That's why he wouldn't
that's
eat rabbit stew
uh,
because of the fatty content and the
oh,
cholesterol levels.
wild game is seriously high in cholesterol. So if your mom made you eat liver and onions or anything like that, you tell her mom is high in cholesterol. I don't want it,
So
but it's
Rodney,
high in cholesterol. Um,
so I know that you're from a different land, but um, you represent LA, the LA area. So when you say cholesterol and you say it grammatically correctly, or when you say it properly, great. But I want you to shout out Ice Cube and say it how he said it in the song. Say it. Do you remember how he said it?
uh-uh.
Cholesterol. I will never forget that. He said cholesterol when I was a kid. I mean, you were clearly a grandfather back in the '80s, but he said he called it cholesterol. All right, so listen, Elaine. Shout out to Elaine. What you missed is Rodney telling the story of well,
Ooh,
you say
word.
glad you're a female. Hold on, there are a lot of female, a lot of women, a lot of little girls that hunt Elaine.
Yeah, yeah. If
But
you were dad's daughter, you would have gone to.
yeah. Now you could miss like Rodney, but so Rodney was telling the story of his dad and the origin of his dad and how his dad liked to hated grocery stores and liked to hunt and all of that. Like even when he was in Nevada, like he would go pitch a tent and just go shoot things in the wilderness. So that's what he was talking about, and then so Cobbs was commenting on that, saying the real men kill and gut their meals, and then that's when you popped in and said what? Um, and then Cobb says Jack Wabbits don't eat wabbit. It's just not right. All right, listen, Rodney already closed out. I'm gonna go ahead and close out now. We appreciate you. It's episode 56 of the Collective Podcast. Love everybody that checked in. Simeon Henderson, Anthony Cobbs, Elaine Williams, Dietrich in the house. Shout out to Shablon, my guy, my executive assistant. Shout out to Gene who checked in. Yeah, much love, much love. Episode 56 live. Listen, as I stated in my intro, there's a lot wrong with the world. And there's a lot wrong with this country right now. And like every time I look up, there's a mass shooting, mass stabbing, murder, suicide, and that's all on top of complications related to COVID-19. And then I know that some of you guys still think that COVID-19 is a myth, but listen, there's so much wrong. Just try to be part of what's right. That's not a lofty goal. Just try to be part of what is right. That doesn't mean that you have to go out and change the world. But if you can change what's within, give a positive nudge. If you can just be part of what's right and everyone follows suit, then we can turn this thing around. Again, when we talk about controlling the things that we can control, we can control a lot of what happens with COVID-19. Some of it we can't, but the part that we can is we can mask up, we can keep 6 feet. Even if you don't believe in it, just for kicks, throw on a mask. Cover up your nose when you throw on a mask. And then don't go out and kill people. Like, real talk. Like, people are dying over nothing. People are killing people over nothing. Now, they are also killing people over something, but none of it warrants what's the result. So let's just try to be part of something good, okay? Please like, comment, and subscribe, or like, comment, and follow. I'm praying for all of you. I want to talk about, and my friend said I could share this. I have a friend named James McIver who lost his daughter in a terrible one-car accident a couple months ago, and he's still grieving. He said he doesn't think that the grieving will end, but when I look at Kayla, 3 years old, I can't imagine life without her, and this is what James deals with every day, life without his daughter. And I don't know anyone else who has lost their child so young. And so the way that James is dealing with it, he says, please don't tell me things will get better. Don't tell me things will be better. Don't tell me that this was God's plan. He says that he knows, like, he's got his relationship with God, and he and God talk about the plan, but don't just tell him, oh, this is God's plan. Like, just don't try to make him feel better. He said, just be there for me, sit by me, stand by me, talk to me. If you want to talk, if you want to ask me what's going on, ask me how I really feel, but then be ready for the answer. He talked about how April is so difficult for him because this is the birth month of his daughter and his dad, and they're both gone. And for people who are struggling like James, I know Rod lost his pop. My dad lost both of his parents when I was little, and then my maternal grandmother, my mom's mother, is gone. And that, like, I cry about my grandmother every holiday. Every May I cry. That's when she was born. It's tough. But for everyone who's dealing with the loss of anyone, but the loss of a child, I don't have the words to make you feel better, but just know that I am praying for you. I am praying for you to find some sense of healing. I understand that you will heal in your own time, and no one can tell you when it has been enough time. No one can tell you how you should feel, even other people that have been through something similar, because there is literally no one in the world who could have been through exactly what you're going through, because it would mean that they would be you, because they would have to have had the same relationship with your child and actually have your child as their child. And even if it's your partner, your wife, your husband, it can't be exactly the same. So there has to be a journey that you take with support, but a journey that is yours and yours alone. I understand that better than ever because of the letter that James wrote to I'm sure he wrote it to a lot of people, but he sent it to me. And I just want to pray for anyone that's in a situation similar to that of James, and know that I wish you healing, and I can't even say that I understand, but I understand better. Yeah. So yeah. So Cobb says, have a blessed weekend. Thank you. He also said, Rodney and his family were uncivilized because they went killing animals. They couldn't just go fishing and kill the animals in the water. They had to use guns. And then Elaine tells us that everyone more is different. Yeah, gospel. Listen, I appreciate y'all. Elaine, we'll make sure you get a reminder next week. I don't know what happened. I think I added it. It was because I added it to Facebook late. So that's why you got the reminder late or didn't get a reminder. So my bad on that. I don't want to bring you guys down, but I just want to let you guys know what I'm on. James McIver, love you, man. You're in my prayers for sure. Rod, love you, brother. Cobb, Elaine, Dietrich, love y'all. Sublime, shout out. Simeon, love you. Gene, thanks for coming through. Love. Got anything else, Rod?
That's it.
All right, I'm gonna do the countdown.